today's Satsang topic. It happens to be yesterday was Dussehra, and we are going to discuss a very important aspect of the spiritual path, that is how do we drive out and conquer the darkness that is within us, and which was Swamiji was saying in this song, the ways about going about it. But how do we go about it? First of all, we yesterday had this festival of Dussehra. What does it mean? Have we ever tried to analyze what it is all about, or got to go to a fair, watch Ravan burn, eat sweets, have a gala time and come back home and go to sleep? Did any one of us ever try to understand what is Dussehra about? What does Dussehra mean? Dussehra. Dash means 10. Hara is defeat. These are the 10 qualities that we need, each one of us needs to, qualities, I won't call it qualities, 10 darknesses that we need to defeat within us. That is what Dussehra is about. Do you really think Ravan had 10 heads? Those heads were these darknesses, and I'll read out what each darkness means. Lust, anger, attachment, greed, pride, jealousy, selfishness, injustice, cruelty, and last but not the least, ego. These 10 darknesses, each one of us has to conquer. And then and only then we can think of the light. Because this darkness is within us. All of us ask this question when we meditate, when we start beginning of meditation. Why can't we see this light that Master and so many of these saints have spoken about? Why is it only, is God partial? He is giving this light to someone and not giving this light to someone. Is it so? And in all the religions, in all the spiritual teachings, these darknesses, like Sri Yukteswar said, the meannesses of the heart. Like if you remember, there's a beautiful paragraph in Holy Science where he talks about if you've got to remove these meannesses of the heart. So many religions have spoken about it, but try and recollect. Has anyone told you how to overcome it? Okay, I understand anger is bad for me. Okay, today I said, okay, anger, please go out of me. Will anger go out? If I had that kind of willpower, certainly I wouldn't have been in this situation. But because I do not have that strong willpower like the masters, Swami Kriyananda, if you remember that story of him when he was down and he was feeling negative, he just shouted out wild, get away from me, and he was cured. That is the kind of willpower we need, to just use willpower and throw out these meannesses of the heart. But most of us do not have that kind of willpower. And how do we do? How do we remove these ignorances and conquer this darkness within us? That is where our path comes in. There is a direct link between Kriya, control of prana, and removal of these darknesses. So beautifully it has been explained on our path. It is just not left, okay, these are the darknesses of the heart, okay, you sit or chant and it will be removed. When, how, what is happening in Kriya? You are being taught to catch hold of the vital important link called prana. Prana is the link to the spiritual world and the physical world. That is why prana, feeling prana and controlling prana is very important. And that is where Kriya comes in. Once I know how to feel this prana, second stage will come of controlling this prana. And through this prana, I will become aware of my inner astral spine. I will become aware of my chakras. Chakras will not remain a place somewhere in my physical body, because Master said that Manipur chakra is behind the navel, so it must be here somewhere. It will be in your own perception. And not only it will be in your own perception, you will feel that when any of these negative tendencies within us becomes predominant, how the prana moves. Where is the prana? How it is moving? And then once you become aware of these things, through Kriya you will learn also how to change the direction of the flow of that prana. And then and only then will the actual battle begin. Because before this, I was a slave to my tendencies, no control. Yes, my brain, when it is calm, it is saying, why did I become angry? Why did I become angry? But at that moment, so the control is not out there, control is here. And it is through the prana. It is through the prana that you will become aware of the astral spine. You will become aware of the prana that is flowing within you, and you will become aware of where the prana moves when this negative feeling comes, and where the prana moves when there is a euphoric feeling comes. Neither is the great euphoria also great for us on the spiritual path. But once you start becoming aware of it, then the second stage becomes of controlling it. And slowly but surely, like Lahiri Mashaji said, Kriya is the answer to everything. You will learn initially, all of us are Kriyabans or about to become Kriyabans, and we realize that, okay, today the meditation of Kriya meditation was very good. Why was it good today? Because we were able to concentrate, it took us someday 3 hours, someday 2 hours, someday 1.5 hours, and then you'll say, wow, this is great, Master's blessing. But when I am getting angry, I don't have the time to sit for 1.5 hours, calm myself and say, okay, I will reply back to you after 1.5 hour. No. But remember this, in Kriya also you are learning this. Slowly but surely, if you are actually aware of what is happening in Kriya, you will learn to control this prana, and you will eventually reach to a state like these masters, that in an instant you can change the flow. Instant. I'm not even talking second. And when you can do it, the whole world changes. Like going into the Sushumna. It is through prana, through awareness you will go there. And when you learn, like I've gone in there, and it is at this stage, nothing outside can influence. I don't even want to engage with the outside world. It has happened with Guru's grace because he has taught me how to go into the Sushumna. And that is the way for all of us. Go into the Sushumna, become aware of this prana, and these meannesses will surely, slowly and slowly start dissipating. And not dissipating by killing them, but because you have started feeling something within you which is so greater than anything else that you are feeling in this world, that you are by your own choice, you say, I don't want to do anything with you. You want to do this to me? Do it. Thank you so much. If I can get within my spine, I am free from this meannesses. And that is the conquering of the darknesses of the heart. That is what our masters have given to us. And each of us has to go through this, has to realize how, with Kriya, to go into my spine. Become aware of this flow of prana and learn how to control it. And then, and only then, can we say that I am the one who's deciding what to do in my life. And then and only then, we will know how to see the light. Do you think Dr. Lewis was just a lucky person whom Master met and he was his first disciple in the US? No. We all are aware what happened. In the first meeting he had with Master, he asked a quote from Bible, when thy eye be single, thy body shall be filled with light. And he asked Master, can you explain it to me? And Master said, yes, I think so, I can. And he touched his forehead to Dr. Lewis's forehead. and he was filled with light. Do you think that light came just like that? Master's sisters, when he came back from the US, they caught hold of him and said, show us something, show us something. And Sananda Lal Ghosh, Master's younger brother, was also there, and he said, okay, close the door and everything, and he sat. This is written in Mejda. And those, his two sisters, and in fact one of them was, I think so, sister-in-law, I'm not too sure, sat there, and he sat with them, and he touched them on their third eye. And Sananda Lal Ghosh says that I could just see something, that they were in very much peace. And after a long time, they came out of it and they bowed down and touched Master's feet. And he later on asked, he was just curious. He said, what happened? What happened at that time? And in tears, these ladies had to say, I saw Bhagavan Jyoti, the light of God. That is the reality of all of us. And let's pledge today. Let's see that light within us with Master's grace, because his touch is what is going to take us across this ocean of delusion, overcoming this meannesses and darknesses of the heart, and be in God's love.
And I love this song of Swamiji because it really speaks to a truth that many a times, even when we are in the spiritual path, on the spiritual path, and of course he's probably talking here about also people in churches and all, we think, we are taught and told that we had to get rid of the devil, get rid of our lower nature. But many a times, without realizing it, we are just inviting him. We are inviting him to be with us, more than we are actually driving him away. For example, I don't know if he based this song on this, but certainly has those words that Master used to say, that, you cannot defeat the darkness by beating it out with a stick. All you have to do is turn the light. And he will say that no matter, imagine, for example, one of the pyramids. The pyramids, that there's so many secret chambers, and some temples in India, there is chambers that haven't been opened for probably thousands of years. They're all enveloped in darkness for thousands and thousands of years. But the moment you put one light inside, darkness is gone forever, as if it had never been. And when we go back to this song, is that we think that by talking about our mistakes, talking about sins, talking about other people's mistakes and sins, it's going to make us holy. But no, we're just focusing on the darkness. We think by parading and saying, stop war, this, that, we are actually putting the light. Well, not necessarily. Most people are not. In fact, they are getting angry in the process, which is the opposite of light. We think that, and then in the end he says, we just have to see the light, and that's how we will overcome the darkness, which of course is what Naveen was sharing here. But it speaks to a truth that we all go through daily. Isn't it so? Now, I was happy that Naveen said those 10 heads, what they represented and all that is a fun thing to know. But these 10 heads, or any negative quality really, they manifest during our daily life through different ways. Maybe a sarcastic comment here, and a willingness to do something here. A wrong thought over the negativity over here. They do manifest in our lives, whether we like it or not, because we are still in this Maya. And yes, we do have to bring battle to these qualities. That's the whole point of the Bhagavad Gita, is that we had to fight our lower tendencies. But interestingly enough, the Kauravas in the Bhagavad Gita did not commit suicide. They had to be slain by some positive energy, some positive qualities that we all have. So in the same way, sometimes we spend too much time concentrating on what is wrong with us. Oh, I did this wrong. Oh, I have this bad tendency. Oh no, I'm very bad because I am still struggling with this one quality. I see all my Guru Bhais, they are free, and I'm still struggling here. How many times we may have gone through that. Well, first of all, we have no idea what other gurus are struggling with, and possibly some of the things that they are struggling with, we are not struggling with, because we all have different lessons to learn. So therefore, it's completely, completely useless to compare ourselves with others. Now, we can draw inspiration from other guru bhais that we feel have overcome something we are trying to overcome, and that's great. If you see others in a way as to draw inspiration, that's a good way to see. If you're just comparing your mistakes with their greatness, that is a bad way to see it. But nevertheless, oftentimes we focus on these things. And it's like Arjuna, when he was in the middle of the battlefield, saying, look at all these great uncles, cousins, everyone is there, you know. He's focusing on them. He's giving them energy. And many a times when we overindulge in, analyzing too much our mistakes, we just give them energy. Now, of course, self-analysis is necessary, but to a certain degree. When we go too much into it, we tend to just give energy to those bad qualities. And we know that in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Pandavas, they kill the Kauravas, and usually it's an opposite quality, a positive opposite quality that kills that particular Kaurava. And so it is with us. And what does it mean to bring the light? It means that we not so much have to worry too much about fighting, like Naveen was saying, although we do have to fight to some degree. Fighting means self-control, means diverting our attention, means, if we are indulging in something negative, to do it with a certain detachment or to do it in the presence of God. Okay, those are ways of fighting, but the best way to fight is to strengthen our positive qualities. Because yes, we obviously Kriya and meditation will help us with this tremendously, but what about all the rest of the time when we are not doing Kriya and we perhaps forgot about God or whatever it may be during the day? Well, we can strengthen our positive God-reminding qualities ideally, but any virtuous quality that we have, we need to strengthen. So sometimes we make the mistake of thinking like, I had to make all positive qualities, I had to make them equally good, and that's how a perfect person is. Well, a master, yes, he can be because he has mastered everything. But people like us who are struggling towards perfection, we cannot master every single quality in one go. But we know that that's why there are 8 aspects of God, for example, because all of them are a window to the divine. But if we have kindness, for example, or peace comes very natural to us, even though we are still greedy in some ways. Well, we strengthen those qualities, and what it does, it draws energy away from all our negative qualities. By strengthening the light, the darkness everywhere starts going away. So even though we still struggle with greediness, yes, we may try to do a few things here to express generosity, but the best that we can do is re-energize those qualities that we have that already bring us into the light. And then when we are in the light, everything else will go. And that's why you see that some very advanced disciples or people who have been on the spiritual path for a long time, they have a lot of light, and maybe they have one particular big flaw as well that is very, very obvious to everyone because they have great energy. That's what Swami Kriyananda used to say, that of certain disciples, that when you're on the spiritual path, is imagine a stained glass window in the churches and all that. They have these beautiful colored windows, different colors. Normal people are like a stained glass window that there's not much light going through it. So everything becomes like a dull. You cannot tell one color from the other many times. When you are on the spiritual path or when you have a lot of energy, there's a lot of light shining through that window. So you see the red and you see the blue and you see the pink and all the colors, you see them very well defined. So people with great energy, you will see that positive qualities very strongly, and some of the negative qualities also, you see them very strongly. But you realize that because they are strengthening their light so much, those negative qualities don't matter so much. And that's what Master told us. He didn't say, he said like, I don't want you to overcome delusion. All I want you to do is to resist it. A certain delusion at least. And many a times that's what we can do. We cannot yet overcome all our darkness. We can resist it as much as we are able to and focus our energy wherever we can positively make a strong difference. The way that Swamiji explained it is this way, is that when you move towards the darkness, when you start being negative, when you start being judgmental, when you start being greedy, there are actual forces of Satan, of Maya, that will pull you more towards that. And I think maybe all of us have realized that when you give to one desire, suddenly other desires are knocking at your door. Hey, what about me also? Don't you want to also do this? And when you, so that's what happens. There's actual forces pulling us. But the same way is when you turn towards the light, when you do your meditation, when you do your energization, you energize and suddenly the other souls say, hey, since we energize, why don't we meditate for some time? Since you meditated, why don't you read something also? Why don't you try to practice the presence of God? All these others also try to pull you towards them. And then we realize that yes, it's exactly what Naveen said in more than just one way. It's all about pranayama. Is it all, where is our energy? If our energy is going mostly towards the light, then it's okay. In fact, Master used to say that every night he will go to the hearts of his devotees and he will see all the good that they are doing and try to energize that good. He will see also the bad, but he said, I don't pay attention to that. As long as overall they are doing well, that's what I focus on. And I think that's what we all had to focus on. Is overall, are we going in the direction of the light? And are we trying constantly to strengthen that light? Because we cannot just say, oh, I'm like 51% light, yeah, that's good enough. No, yes, it is better, but we want to keep increasing that percentage as much as we can. But not so much focusing on the 10, 20%, whatever percentage maybe. Give it its due with self-control and whatnot, but focus on the other 80% or 70%. I think sometimes as devotees we have this wonderful skill to focus on our mistakes a lot. Maybe because we are more sensitive than most people, but we do something wrong, it haunts us for weeks, perhaps months. Well, why? There is so much light already flowing through us. Let us really focus on that. It is said that, I think we all know this, that it is said that Ravan, when he was slain by Ram, he found liberation. And so it is that what happens to all our qualities, whenever like in the Gita, whenever we kill any negative quality, they don't really die. They actually get enlightened. And that enlightenment of those negative qualities will even add more to our inner light. So the battle is there for all of us, day by day, moment by moment, and we had to choose. Do we choose light or we choose to focus in the darkness? Let's just remember those words of Swamiji from this song. In any circumstance, what we need is light. And you even clap because of the joy of that realization that yes, it's all about light. It always was about light, and it will ever be about that light.